Hello, my name is Kathy Bissell. Welcome to the Golf Show 2.0. Today we have an expert on the Long Island golf joining us, John Glozek, who's the publisher. Is that right?
Yes, publisher of New York Golf Magazine.
Yeah, and Gary and I have known him for many years, and we're going to talk some Long Island golf, especially the Ryder Cup coming up. Gary, why don't you start?
Well, look, the one obvious question everybody wants to know about the Ryder Cup, John, is as soon as you leave Bethpage Black, where's the best pizza in the area?
Actually, not too far from my house, about 8 minutes away. But yeah.
What's the name? What's the name? We're going.
Oh, you really want to know? It's called.
Give us the name and then give us the address of your house.
Okay.
We're coming to the party.
I've already had a few people request staying in my guest room, sleeping in my backyard, want to park the car in the driveway. Yeah. I live about 8 minutes away from Bethpage. So, but the answer to your question is Little Vincent's in Huntington has thin crust pizza and it's phenomenal.
Oh, okay. I remember going to tournaments on Long Island, and one of the challenges was getting in a car and driving around and looking for some place to eat, not knowing anything about any of the restaurants in the area. I figured you couldn't go really wrong, but you just don't know exactly where to go. And now we know.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know the area, I mean, there's plenty around here. Bethpage is, pretty much central Long Island, just about, and there's so much in the area. It's off one of the main north-south corridors, 110, and plenty of restaurants, plenty of food, plenty of really good food, great towns in the area. You just kind of have to know where you're going and ask somebody. I've lived here my whole life, so I pretty much know what's around.
And
well, you've lived there your whole life, but not yet.
You're like up to now.
Yes.
Well, the hot topic on the Ryder Cup. We can't really. We don't even know who's on the teams yet. But the ticket prices and the escalation of that was a big topic. Have people gotten over that, or are tickets being sold for less than what they wanted originally, or more? Or how hard is it to get a ticket if you don't already have one?
If you don't already have one, it's very hard to get a ticket. The price tickets on the secondary market are way up. There's not pricing going down. I think it's the local Long Islanders that are upset about the price because it's a public golf course. It's a state facility. For me to play there on a weekend is like $70. I mean, on a black course. I mean, so you're playing a U.S. Open black course for $70 as a local resident.
That's crazy.
And then they hear those ticket prices of $750 and up, and I say, well, think about the U.S. Tennis Open, how much it costs to go there, how much it costs to go to MetLife Stadium to see the Jets and Giants play for a couple hours. Here's an opportunity to see the greatest golfers on the planet. You can stay there probably for 12, 14 hours all day. It opens at 6 o'clock. Stay as long as you like. Walk wherever you want and have a great day. So it's interesting that I don't have a problem with the price because it costs a lot more to go to everything else you want to go see.
Yeah, well, the Masters tickets, you can't get them. And if you buy them, I don't know what they are per day, but I know they're $4 or $5 grand for the week. So they're probably $1,000 a day if you can find one.
Right, if you can get them. The thing here is, pay the price you get. I've heard things like you could if you have a ticket, you could bring a child under 15 years old for free. So that hasn't been out there a lot, and people argue about the price. But I think the most people that are arguing about it or have a problem with the price are the local Long Islanders, the people that have played the golf course for years.
Yeah, well, it makes sense when you have a public course, and they're used to. Yes. I mean, I'm sure like everybody else who has a good public course, they get spoiled. They don't realize this is one of the few spots in the country where you can play a golf course like this for this amount of money.
Right.
And so when an event comes, you kind of expect tickets to be on the same scale. And, this is a big deal.
It is a big deal. And I mentioned, like I said, I would pay $70 to play out of state. So if you're not a New York State resident, it's $140 to play a U.S. Open golf course.
Still really cheap.
That's actually, because remember what happened to Torrey Pines when they did the renovation, and then the price to pay even for the local people went way up, and they were screaming, and I don't blame them, but the course was, I guess, enhanced. There's the jury's still out, depending on who you talk to, as to whether or not it was improved. But they had to do something to hold a modern U.S. Open on that golf course, because before the renovation, I don't think it was up to snuff for a U.S. Open track.
Yeah, I think
if you want to play Whistling Straits or the Sawgrass, or you better have $500 and change.
Yeah. I lost track of TPC Sawgrass when it went over $500.
Right.
I remember being out at PGA West when that golf course first opened, which was in 1986. It was $150 a person, and so that's $600 for a foursome. And the people who were the owners just shook their heads and said they couldn't believe it, because they had grown up playing, much less expensive golf, but that's what it was.
Right. I mean, I'm thrilled. I think that had a lot to do back in 2002 when the Open came there. There was a discussion about the pricing that, for golfers to play there. And New York State said, listen, we're not going ridiculous on these prices. And
Good.
they have a riot on their hands.
How many courses are there, John? And if you're not playing the black course, which of the other courses do you like to play?
Well, there are 5 golf courses at Bethpage. If you want to talk about that, there's the green, the red, black, yellow, and blue. And I love the green and the blue. I mean, let's be realistic, the condition of the black golf course is pristine. So then you break it down to the other 4 golf courses where not as much money is being spent, but the green golf course and the blue golf course at Bethpage are absolutely a phenomenal layout, which I really enjoy playing. Other golf courses on Long Island, I mean, we have plenty of private ones that are exceptional. Public-wise, there's a golf course called Harbor Links, not too far away, about a half hour from Bethpage, kind of unique. And then also there's a golf course in the middle of Long Island out on the South Shore called Timber Point, which also has a red, white, and blue. It's 27 holes. The blue golf course there, I always call it it's a mini Pebble Beach. And it's right on the water on the South Shore. It's absolutely spectacular. Love playing there, and it's usually in pretty good shape. If you want to go crazy and then you head towards the city, there's the Bally's Ferry Point, right near the Whitestone Bridge. Which
I've driven over that bridge, and I looked down there and oh, that's Trump's Ferry Point. This was at the time.
Yep.
It looks incredible. I've been dying to play there, and I just haven't been in the area. But I'm sure it's not cheap, but it's New York Harbor, basically. It's so cool looking.
Yes, and it is spectacular. And if you can't get a chance, let's talk to public golfers for a second. If you can't get a chance to go over to Ireland or Scotland, you want to go play, Bally's Ferry Point. Really spectacular. And expensive, yes. If you're not, it is a city golf course. So now if you're not a New York City resident, it's going to cost you a bunch.
Wow.
What's a bunch?
A bunch. A lot of bunches. About $250.
$250? Okay,
Yeah.
Well, just so people know.
Yeah, it's not bad. Really, for what you get.
Right.
When I asked you about the courses at Bethpage, I was really hoping you were going to say, oh, I like the black and blue, and boy, they really beat you up.
Oh, they definitely beat you up. I mean, well, the blue doesn't beat you up, but the black golf course, I play it about once a year, and people ask me if I play it a lot. I grew up about 2 miles away. I now live about 8 miles away. I always say it's kind of like the Statue of Liberty. I've been here my entire life. I've only been to the Statue of Liberty once. It's like it's still there. And it's like I drive past Bethpage almost every day. My parents still live in the house I grew up in 2 miles away. And it's there. So it's not like, oh, I got to go play the black. But when you do, it is so, so, so good.
Oh, that's good.
Go ahead.
Do you think the matches are going to go all the way to the 18th on Bethpage?
Well, that's a great question. I do know, 17 is a beautiful par 3. Normally it plays about 200 yards, big bunkers, left, right, front. And it's a split green, tiered high left side, lower right side. and they're going to only play it at about 165 yards because they're going to put some grandstands right behind the tee box.
Okay.
So if you ever get there, it's a good spot to be because you could see 15th tee, 16th green, and all of 17. So if the matches get that far, and probably some of them will, it's going to be a good spot to be.
I'm trying to remember all the holes.
Do you know if they have any tricks there besides cutting that par 3 short? Is there anything?
Nothing too crazy. Man, the grand
the signature par 5 hole in the front, which is gorgeous. But is there anything they've got cooked up that maybe people aren't expecting?
No, they're not. You're not going to see. The golf course is pretty much right in front of you, and I always say it has 17 really well-designed golf holes. I think one is probably the weakest hole out there, mostly because they can't put it any further back. There's a brick wall right behind the tee box, and that's as far as they're going to go. It's just a dogleg, long downhill, long dogleg right. These guys bomb it out there. Matter of fact, in 2002, I was on the tee box. Tiger hits a 3-wood through the end of the fairway, and this is back, 24 years ago. So these guys are hitting, something either driver, less than driver, and a wedge or 9-iron in. So the weakest hole out there. But after that, it has 17 spectacular holes. No real surprises after that, other than where do you want to walk, where do you want to see, where do you want to sit. So it's those kinds of things.
Well, we've had the U.S. Open in 2002 and 2009. We had the Barclays in 16 and
the PGA
Championship in 2019.
18, and then the PGA has been there. What have we learned? And that's covered 17 years. I'm sure they're not playing it in 2019 the way they did in 2002. Is this course big enough to hold these guys? What did they do in 19 to make this tough enough for these guys?
I've been driving the golf course. Probably I pass it 2 or 3 times a week, and even within the past year, you could see what they were trying to do to make it a little bit more challenging. And certainly, the rough is going to be up. There's going to be narrower fairways. So I think that's where the golf course's strength is, because they always talk about the greens being relatively flat, and quite a few are. But relatively flat and flat are two different things. There are a lot of subtle spots on the green that certainly make it exciting. And I remember watching it. I've been there every year. There's been a major championship, and it's interesting having played the golf course so much and knowing the breaks on the greens that I'm looking at some of these players going, he's going to miss. He's like he's easily a cup or 2 off, which is pretty interesting. But the greens are relatively flat, and they're not changing those. But it's going to be, the rough is going to be up, the fairway is going to be tight, and the golf course is already in spectacular condition, which will be closing for play on August 18th. So that's going to be the last day anybody's going to get to play it.
Wow.
Why would they make the fairways narrow? That plays into the hands of the European players. Usually, I'd make the fairways really wide. I'd give my bombers all the room they need. Really.
Everybody has bombers now. I don't know.
It. That's exactly it. I mean, these guys are just bombing it out there. Like I said,
and the twins from, is it Denmark? Nikolai
Højgaards.
Yeah, the Højgaards and Rasmus. They can hit it a long way, but I just ordinarily think of the European.
I'm sure Keegan Bradley's all over that with getting it set the way he wants, but again, he doesn't really know exactly for sure who's
playing.
Probably who 7 of his 12 are going to be yet.
Right. Or if he's going to be on the team or not on the team. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, Keegan is, it's almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he plays on the team and they lose, they're going to hear about it. If he's the captain and doesn't play, then you're going to pick a player that, didn't make it on a team, and he had to pick somebody. So, but he's got
vice cap. They may got people falling all over each other.
Yeah, they do.
You go back not that far, and you had one vice captain.
Right.
And all this baloney about we got to have a vice captain walking with each of the foursomes.
Right.
To follow the match. It's like, come on.
Dave
There's an army in there. How do you have a personal team dinner when you got a captain, 4 vice captains, their wives, the players, their wives, the caddies, 12 caddies, their wives, their dads, their
100 people.
It's like a wedding.
You've hit the nail on the head, because I've heard the number. This is rumored to be true. Is there's going to be about 40 people inside the ropes walking on every hole.
Yeah,
40.
Possible. Like
you said, that's the grandmother, the grandfather, the aunt, the uncle, the kid, the sign bearer, the assistants, everybody.
And then you've got American TV, you've got BBC, Sky TV, you've got Sirius Radio, and I'm sure I'm leaving 2 other people out. There's talking heads walking everywhere. I mean, It really is a bad look. I wish they would fix that, but I guess they probably won't.
Listen, I'm just thrilled that it's here. I was thrilled back in 2002. They announced it in like '98 that the U.S. Open was coming to Long Island. It was 9 months after 9/11, which changed the world at the time. And now saying all of a sudden it seems like yesterday, but here we are at the Ryder Cup, and it's just absolutely off the charts, and it's going to be interesting. The New York crowd. Here we are in September. It could be 80 degrees, or it could be 48 degrees. It's going to be interesting. Some leaves on the ground, maybe not some leaves on the ground.
I remember I think it was 1991, Dave Stockton had his 2 sons helping him out. That was, I think, he didn't have like a cast of thousands. He just had a couple.
Yeah, he probably had 1 assistant and his 2 sons. He has somebody out there.
And I don't remember who it was.
So you can know who to pick for play in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You mentioned the crowds, John, and that's going to be a big issue. We've had some unruliness at all the events that have been held there.
What do you mean?
Bethpage. The one timeline in the long history of the Ryder Cup. We talked about this with Hank Ola, who's got a book out, The Ryder Cup Rivals. The fans have always kind of been not great on both sides of the Atlantic throughout the history of this event. And I know one American said about the Brits or the Europeans, they're bad losers and worse winners. And I'm sure they say the same thing about Americans, and they're probably not wrong. It's one thing to hassle Monty or Sergio. There were some bad things happen at Whistling Straits, and that's mild man in Wisconsin. What kind of tornado vortex are these European guys walking into?
It's going to be loud. Yes, you could say the Americans, and then you throw on top of that New Yorkers.
Yeah.
It's this mix of we have a lot to say, and we say it right to your face, and so it's
everybody's used to going to watch the Yankees, the Mets, the Giants, the Jets. Who am I leaving out? And if they're bad, they're not hesitant to boo, but just like in Philly, There was the story? Somebody fell out of Bob Euchre said somebody fell out of the upper deck at Philly one time, and the fans booed him. And that's New Yorkers are used to booing a product they're not happy with, so to them golf is it's not their fault. This is just the nature of American sports, but I don't know if they can do anything about that. What do they have plans? What do you think?
Well, there's going to be a lot of security, and they're not going to put up with anything. Listen, you don't want to cross the line. You want to yell, you want to scream, you want to have something to say. In the sport, fine, but this is not going to get out of control. I remember, the other events here and with Sergio and the problems in the rain, and everybody had something to say, and Sergio giving somebody the finger and screaming and dropping in a couple F-bombs. Listen,
I used to be the media director for the Skins game when it was at PGA West, and we were working with another group on that, and this one guy is from New York. I don't know if he's still alive. I hope he still is. I hope he's in good health. But he would call out to California, and nobody in the office would talk to him or take his phone calls. They'd give him to me, and I'd take my phone and I'd hold it at arm's length like this until the screaming stopped. I'd say, what is it you wanted? And then we'd have a conversation. But only because I'd been to New York and I had some friends from New York did I know that that was the way it worked. You just wait until the noise stops, and then you ask them what they really want.
Right.
But you have to be patient to wait for the noise to die down, or you're never going to get anywhere.
And that man's name was David Fay.
No.
Oh,
I mean, it was just full on New York.
Yeah.
Well, players are already hearing it just with fantasy stuff, and now with betting being legal in probably almost half the country on your phone. Got to believe is phone betting. Can you bet on your phone in New York? I assume you can.
I would think so.
Yeah,
I do it. So.
Players already saying, "Oh, come on, man, you cost me money," but not so politely generally.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to be polite. I mean, I think, going back to Rome for a second is, Rory said there's nothing like winning a Ryder Cup away. And he says, and that's what we're going to do at Bethpage. So if anybody heard that, they're going to have to shut Rory up when he gets here.
I think he knows that, or else he doesn't know what he's in for.
Right.
One or the other.
But I do know Luke was here about a month ago when they were playing up in Connecticut. I think he came down the next day on Monday, which I just happened to be at the golf course. And then there is the European golf cart with his name on it. And then, the state trooper standing next to it. So I wound up having a conversation, and Luke took some pictures with some of the juniors around. So they're already scoping it out.
Well, they've been smart in some past attempts where they go out and mingle with the crowd early in the week, sign as many autographs as they can, and be nice to people on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to try and kind of take the edge off. And that's a smart strategy, but I don't know if that's going to work in New York.
That's not going to work. Okay. When you're coming down to the weekend, we want to win.
Yeah. Tell people about one of my favorite holes in golf is the par 5 on the front. It's always in this. It's the signature hole. It's always in the photos. Tell people
the 4th hole
about that hole and why it's so hard. Because it is dramatic looking. I love that hole.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, it's a long sweeping dog leg left where you're actually your tee shot has to carry a bunker if you want to hit it far enough. To an elevated, your second shot is elevated over bunkers. Your third shot, if you get that far, is going to be to a blind pin, basically, uphill over bunkers again, with a green that relatively flat, but slopes from front to back. So you're coming in high and carrying the bunkers, and they've actually cut out the back of the green. Now, there is a bail area. You can hit it, which is actually fairway. If you wanted to go way right and then come in from the side of the green, that's very doable. But it's just so dramatic. And I'm glad you brought it up, because back in 2002, they added a tee box to that way back. And Tiger hit his tee shot 1 yard short of the end of the fairway. And I was there when he did it. And if you stand on the tee box, you look and you go, okay, that's nice. But when you walk out to where his ball was, and then you look back at the tee box, you go, well, that's impossible. I mean, it's just
like
insane.
Football fields,
Yeah, it's right. How big? And back in 2002, a long time. And certainly he was in his prime. But to be there and watch go like this ball is 1 yard short of the end of the fairway. I mean, I really felt they should have put a plaque there. But it's just that, you see that hole a lot. You see 18 a lot. There's a lot of pictures of 18 because it's dramatic. And I think the downside to 18 is it's relatively short for these guys. Other than there's bunkers left and bunkers right everywhere. I really thought Koepka in 2019 made a mistake hitting. He could have hit 5-iron, which he didn't. But it almost got buried in the lip of a bunker, and it took a little while to find it. I'm like, why is he even doing this? Why just hit anything he wants out into the middle of the fairway and be on the green. And if anybody gets that far, that's all you need to do, because these guys hit it far enough. But it's a very dramatic hole. It's just not long enough where people say, "Oh, this is a great finishing hole."
It's not on anybody's list of the great finishing holes, but
That's
look, I'm
why
glad they haven't tried to beautify it, using that word wrongly, by like building a giant lake in the middle of the fairway or something. Or
Right. No,
it is what it is, and not every hole has to have a water hazard and be a video game finish. It's it give people a chance to make a birdie. And nothing wrong with that.
I mean, and that's what I said before. I think Bethpage has 17 really phenomenal, well laid out golf holes. Take away the first hole. But what it doesn't have is we don't have an ocean. We don't have dramatic mountains. We don't have anything to look at. But if you look at hole by hole by hole, there's great, great golf holes, every single one of them. And other than 10 and 11, those are the only two that are really parallel to each other. But, boy, it's a lot of fun.
It's like Baltusrol or even, Pinehurst with different kinds of trees. Pinehurst, it was brutal covering a tournament there because you get done and you ask the player, "Hey, what did you do on 7?" And every one of them like, "Oh, what was 7?" Par 4 through pine trees.
Yeah, right.
It's hard. And Bethpage, not as much, but a little bit. Like, what is? You have to think. But I love the par 5. Is that number 5? On the
it's
front?
4.
4. Yeah, 4.
I thought it was 4. And what's the second hole? Is that a par 3?
No, that's 3. So 3 is going to play, and 3 is actually a great spot to be behind 2 green. If they're going to put grandstands up there, you could go behind 2 green and watch them hit into the tee shot on 3, which is probably going to play about 200 yards, 190, something like that, with a peanut shaped green that goes away. So it's narrow and long.
Okay. I remember that area being very scenic once you leave 1 and you go to 2 and 3, and then you've got the up the hill shot
right
on 4.
Yep.
And to me, that was a really pretty part of the golf course.
When you play number 4, where do you hit? Where did you hit it the last time you played number 4?
I usually hit it. I mean, the tee box is pretty much set straight up down the straight fairway, so I'll do that. I can't carry that bunker anymore. I'm 67 years old. And there's even times I would even lay up before the bunkers, the split fairway with the bunkers, and go, I can hit something over the top and hopefully hit something, pitch a wedge, 9-iron, something close, and deal with it. But it's just such a big hole, and you just sometimes you can't carry those bunkers. It's the same thing on 15. It's a huge, big golf hole up a hill. And you say, all right, I'm going to hit the longest driver I could possibly hit, and then I'm going to lay up with an 8-iron and hit a pitch a wedge or a wedge up the hill because you can't see it anyway.
What's the single most memorable shot you've hit at Bethpage Black? Pick out one shot. It could be memorably good or memorably bad. It's up to you.
I have a memorably bad one on the green golf course, but that's another story. Black? No, that's a great question. I've played it a bunch. I'd probably say 6 is interesting. It's you're set up on top of the hill. There's bunkers all around, just basically 80% surrounding the green. But it's a great view looking down a big round green, and you hit from the top of the hill. And anytime you put it on the green, it feels so good. But if you hit my bad shot on the green course, that was many years. I eagled it. The ball barely got off the ground, hit one of the mounds, hit the flag stick, probably going 100 miles an hour, and dropped in the hole. So,
that's what we're looking for. Real golf.
Excitement.
Are you going to be there in a media capacity or?
Yes. I'll be there every day working, Monday to Sunday. That's the plan. I cleared my calendar a long time ago for the week of the Ryder Cup, which here on Long Island, I mean, there's so many great golf courses. Like I said, we have the Ryder Cup this year, and next year we have Shinnecock, the U.S. Open at Shinnecock. So back-to-back years of a hell of a lot of excitement.
That's pretty good.
Are your friends and neighbors having Ryder Cup parties and whatnot?
You hear about it a lot. I mean, it's who's going, who's not going, who can't get tickets, who's waiting to get tickets, who hopefully has a friend who has a ticket. But I'm working, so I'll be there every day. And we'll have a magazine out the week before the Ryder Cup and then about 3 weeks after the Ryder Cup, regardless of who wins. But yeah, and I may even ride my bicycle there because that's how close I live.
Oh, well,
that's probably a good plan.
It's a good plan. I came up with that plan in 2002. I realized it was downhill. I'm going, I could ride my bicycle downhill to the 15th hole and walk in through the fence.
Yes, but then you have to ride uphill.
I do, yes, but it's worth it.
And you have to make some make sure some nut New York driver doesn't, run you right off the road.
While
they're texting.
I mean, so talking about riding off the road, but even now, it has been the past couple of months. The parking lot at Bethpage has been packed, and then there's even guys. The day before at 4:00 in the afternoon, guys are already setting up their barbecue and sleeping in their cars so they can play the next day.
Wow.
So yeah, it's fun.
Is that parking lot still frequented by ladies of the evening as it used to be for a while there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Got it.
What you're talking about?
All these golfers are spending the night in the parking lot so they get a tee time the next day. And
well, I could tell you, my father was really the golfer in the family, who wanted me to play. Let's call it 70 years ago, even longer, 75 years ago, because he's now 92. He would sleep in somebody's car, not his, and get paid to sleep in the car, and then the guy would show up the next day. So he'd have his car, set up right there. He'd be online for somebody else.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. Well, that's the beauty of municipal golf, and it can be annoying, but there's something simplistic about it. You got to like it.
There's plenty of golf here, and I think anybody, yes, having the U.S. Open here, and yes, having the Ryder Cup here, it's such a great golf course, the Black, and the others there, but. If you play golf, this is a great opportunity where it's not costing you $500 to play. Fly into JFK or LaGuardia, come out to Long Island, and play Bethpage, and you'll have a blast.
Yeah, come out the day after the Ryder Cup and play. Spend a week and play all 5 courses there, and maybe get on the Black course.
Right.
Thursday or Friday after the Ryder Cup. That'd be pretty fun.
Thanks
for filling us in on golf on Long Island, and especially Bethpage Black. John Glozek.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you.
And internationally known publisher.
Thank you, guys. See you again.